guys, today we are making shrimp gorgonzola, one of my favorite recipes from one of my restaurants, and we are going to learn how to make a beautiful sauce with gorgonzola cheese. So I'm just getting my veggies prepped right now. Mushrooms cut up. I cut some onions. I'm going to do some garlic, and we've got these beautiful red bell peppers. And what we're going to do with these is we're going to fire roast them on the range, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and get these on the range, and when we go over there to start cooking, I'll show you what I've been doing with them for the last few minutes. We have our mise en place ready, and now I'm going to head over to the range and show you how to put together this quick, easy meal. All right, I'm going to show you how to put together this shrimp gorgonzola, and this could also be a different dish. It could be a steak gorgonzola, you could do chicken gorgonzola, but shrimp was always a favorite, so that's what I'm going to show you. So what I had done with the red bell peppers is I put them right on a burner, right on the flame, and I'm going to turn them over and show you what they look like. So they're gonna look burned. You're gonna think that we burned them and messed them all up. But what we're trying to do is get that nice char on there, just like that. Kind of smells a little bit like a campfire in here. So we wanna char the outside, and then we're going to wrap them up in foil and let them sit for just a few minutes, and then we'll peel that outer edge off, and we're gonna put them in our dish close to the end of the dish. We don't need to really cook them anymore. They're going to be beautifully roasted, and it brings out all that flavor. So in the back I have a pot on boiling for our pasta. We're going to do some penne pasta for this dish. So I'm going to let that come to a boil, and then I'll add salt. And then right here in our front pan, I'm going to go ahead and turn it on and get the pan heated up, and we're going to add butter to the pan and garlic first. Okay, I've got 4 tablespoons of butter here. We're going to let that start melting, and then I'm going to add our garlic. We want to saute the garlic for just a minute before we put everything else in. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add our garlic to the pan. Let that start to sizzle, and then we are going to add our onions and cook them down for just a minute before we add the shrimp. You want to keep turning your peppers until you get all sides of them roasted off. Our water has come to a boil, so I'm going to go ahead and salt the water. We never want to salt it beforehand. Pretty liberal with the salt. And then we're going to go ahead and put our pasta in. We're using penne today. Make sure that you always get an imported pasta if you're purchasing a pasta. Fresh pasta is always nice, and I will definitely do a video about making fresh pasta. But if you're using pasta from the store, make sure that you get an imported pasta. When you put it in the pot, you want to stir it one time, and then we're going to let that come back to a boil. It's going to take between 5 and 8 minutes for the pasta, and in that amount of time we're going to get this meal ready to go. Our onions have started to cook down a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and add the mushrooms. We want to add the shrimp last because the shrimp are going to cook really fast. All right, we're going to let the mushrooms and the onions cook down for about 2 minutes, and then we're going to cook the shrimp off. I'm going to go ahead and get the bell peppers off of the flame because they're done. I'll show you what they look like, nice and charred. Blackened all the way around, and I'll show you what we do with those. Our mushrooms and our onions have cooked down, and they're looking really nice, and it's time to bring the shrimp to the party. So I have shrimp that are size 21, 25. They're called P&D, which means they're peeled and deveined. And they have the tail on. Now, I like to leave the tail on a lot of times because it brings extra flavor. So we're going to go ahead and put those in the pan. Once we get them in the pan, we want to go ahead and start seasoning. So we're going to do salt and pepper and secret seasoning. If you don't have secret seasoning, you can order some from our website, or you can substitute granulated garlic and onion and your own herbs and spices. Make sure you're pretty liberal with whatever seasonings you're using, as long as it's not salt. So we want to put enough salt, but we definitely don't want to put too much salt. Seasoning salts definitely don't do the trick. They always tend to over salt everything. So make sure if you mix up a seasoning blend that it doesn't include salt. You can always add salt separately. Now all of that fond on the bottom of the pan is coming up. And that's going to be in our sauce. It's going to be our flavor to our sauce. We're going to add a Gorgonzola cheese to this nice cream sauce, and Gorgonzola has a beautiful flavor. If you don't think you like Gorgonzola, I definitely recommend you try it, especially with a dish like this or even baked onto a pizza. It is one of the best cheeses, and I promise you, you will come to love it just like we do. We're going to let our shrimp cook down for just a minute, and while we're waiting for that, make sure you click the like button and subscribe to our channel. You'll see all new videos right when they come up. And if you'd like to get more exclusive videos, you can become one of our patrons over on our Patreon page, so make sure you check that too. Our shrimp have cooked almost all the way, and now we want to start to build our sauce and get the rest of this fond up off the bottom of the pan. So our sauce is a cream sauce. So of course we're going to use heavy cream. I'm going to go ahead and put that in. The cream is going to darken up just a little bit as it gets the fond off the bottom of that pot where all that flavor is, which is what we want it to do. And we're going to let it thicken up just a tad, come back to a boil, and then we're going to add our Gorgonzola cheese. While our sauce is thickening up over on the range, we're going to go ahead and get our bell peppers ready. And you can see they clearly look like we burnt them completely, but I'm going to show you what happens. So you're going to take a towel and you're going to wipe this black off of the outside. It gets really messy. It's going to get all over your hands. We don't really want to eat the black charred part. We want that sweet roasted pepper inside of there. Now we're simply going to take our knife and we're going to cut them into some strips to put into our dish. Now, we do not want to rinse them, and some people may think they want to rinse them to get all this off. All that char is flavor. We don't want all of it off. We just wanted the really dark parts off. The rest of this we're going to leave on, and we're going to cut this into strips. Now our red bell peppers are ready to add to our sauce and our Gorgonzola cheese. So let's finish our meal. Our sauce has really cooked down. It's ready for us to add our cheese. Now Gorgonzola is an Italian blue cheese, and it makes a delicious sauce, especially with shrimp or beef. We're going to go ahead and add our cheese in there. I'm going to add our red bell peppers. Once that cheese melts, we're ready to add our pasta, and our pasta is done. And we don't want to pour our pasta water out. We want to save our pasta water just in case we need it. So I like to take my pasta out with what's called a spider. We're going to get it out and put it right into our other pan. And it's okay if a little bit of the pasta water gets in there, because we're going to cook it down for just a few more minutes, and then we'll be done with our shrimp gorgonzola. Let it cook down just a few minutes to thicken, and I'm going to top it with a little bit more of our gorgonzola cheese. And there you have our pasta dish, shrimp gorgonzola. I hope you enjoy.